one because it is something I personally haven't done in a year at the time we're recording this. We're talking about live events, specifically LinkedIn Lives, because a lot of us are using LinkedIn as the primary platform. And back in the day, LinkedIn had, whoever remembers, LinkedIn had audio events. Those were cool. That was my preferred method. Nowadays, we're only stuck with video events. And one of the most amazing hosts when it comes to video events, to me personally, is Nathaniel Bibby, right here in front of us today with us. I'm just going to give him a short intro. The number one sales
Oh,
guy in
cool.
Aussie, in the entire APAC region, the LinkedIn OG. Like he's been doing this way before a lot of people here. And yeah, he is just through and through a good man. And that's all you need to know about him. And just look at his setup. He came prepared. And I know today's session is going to be packed with great tips because it's also, sorry, baby, I'll give you I need 30 more seconds. It's also kind of perfect because next week I'm hosting a LinkedIn Live. So a lot of the stuff you're going to see in theory today, you might see in practice next week. So you can actually see all the moving pieces in real time. And you're going to be like, I see what they've done there. I see what they've done here. Oh, I know what they're doing here. So yeah, baby, welcome to Lenko. He's a member, so he's already here.
My dog was bothering me, so I let him go.
All good,
Let him out the door. Hey
Thank you for
guys,
being here, man.
my pleasure. Thanks for having me. I feel really honored to be here. I know that this is a real switched on community. So thanks for having me. Thanks for showing up. I'm going to try and share my screen here. And we're going to run through some pretty high level tactics on how I've been running LinkedIn events since they started pretty much. I assume you all can see my screen. Thumbs up.
Yep,
we can see the screen.
Okay? We can see the screen. It's
yeah,
fine.
Cool. Yeah. One of the things that with events is technology, right? So who uses LinkedIn events? And do you use it for virtual or in person? Drop in the chat, let me know. I want to get a bit of an idea of what you guys are currently doing. We all know the virtual event industry is growing. It's an area where a lot of customers and brands see a lot of value in. My goal is to deliver you value, but first, a little bit about me. For those of you that haven't come across me before. No, I've been fired by 3 speaking coaches. Can you believe it? So I'm not the textbook keynote speaker, but I've been speaking since I was 16 years old. My first keynote was in KL. My dad was booked to speak about the stock market and he couldn't make it. And none of his staff wanted to do it. No one of them wanted to get on stage. It's one of the biggest fears, right? So he said, Nat, do you want to go? I said, yeah, hell yeah, I'll go to KL. And I said, but I don't know anything about the stock market. And he said, well, just read the slides. And then I was reading through the brief and it said, at the end, there's 15 minutes question and answer. I said, well, what about the Q&A? What am I going to do during the Q&A? And he said, whatever they ask you, just say, great question. But the question you should be asking me is, where's the smart money going? And then you say China. And so I must have said that during the Q&A 6 times or something. And this short little Asian guy comes up to me afterwards and he said, I really liked how you hammered home that point about China. And that was my first speaking experience. But I still get nervous. This was my closing slide for years. So LinkedIn is no biggie. See, I've got a bit of a sense of humor as well. It's cool. So my first webinar, right, just so you know, because we all suck when we start. So my first webinar, I thought it didn't work, right? So imagine you looking at me right now and I'm going, fuck, it's not working. And we ended up, the guy that was helping me with it, we ended up opening a beer and we were standing there for 20 minutes complaining about how it didn't work. And then I find out everyone had watched us the whole time. There was about 20 people registered, which was a lot for me. So I called them up each personally afterwards just to apologize. And I made 2 sales just from the follow-up. So a lot of people think that it's all about the actual event. Sometimes it's actually what happens around the event. It's not always about what happens during the event. And so you need to find ways to add leverage, right? And I've got the cutest daughter in the world. That's Brooklyn. Yeah, everybody sucks at the start. So you're going to make mistakes with live. If you haven't done it before, if you're doing virtual events, you're going to make mistakes. I think it's very important how you handle those if they do happen, because I've made every mistake you can possibly imagine. You know, when LinkedIn Live first came out, there was only a few creators that had it. I was one of them. And you would get 5 to 10,000 people on your live without doing any marketing whatsoever, because it would just alert everyone that you were going live in your network and beyond. And I think the first 2 times I tried it, I couldn't get the video to work. So you just got to be you got to be relaxed and cool about it. I know Jasmin's the same when things go wrong. The real reason I host events is because events move people down the customer journey faster than anything else. So most most marketing, you've got the customer journey, you've got awareness, consideration, and then purchase. What I'm going to suggest is like events move people through every stage, right? So if I've got a prospect that I've just pitched a proposal to and they're like, oh, I need to think about it. I'm like, I'll tell you what, why don't you come and join me on Monday night? I'm going live. We're talking about storytelling. I think you'll get a lot of value out of it, and that'll close them. So you can do events for the consideration phase. They'd be more like webinars. You can either go live on a company page or a personal page, right? I don't know if you notice the difference if you've tried it before, but if you're on a company page, you can get people to register with their email address, so you can build your database. They do opt in whether or not they want to get emails or not. So it seems like a really good option. Let's go get the emails right, but you actually get more reach if you do it from your personal profile. So it's just a consideration of where you are focusing on the customer journey. Like if you're going for awareness, personal profile. If you're going to move people like down the funnel and you're looking to generate sales, you might want to consider doing it on the company page. I go live every single week, which, by the way, I don't really advise. Like it is difficult. It's hard work to promote an event every single week because you can send 1,000 invites a week, right? So if ideally I would do one every 4 weeks because then you get 4 weeks to send 4,000 invites, and anyone can send invites. So my assistant can send some as well. So then you got 8,000. But I go live every week. Hey, one of the reasons is, by the way, this is just a secret. One of the reasons I go live every week is because I struggle to stay consistent with content, and it just keeps me accountable. Like it creates almost all my content, and because I repurpose everything, and it's through Opus Clip. And so now when I deliver the lives, I've got so used to doing it in like a structure that is easy to cut up into clips that every 3 minutes I'm doing another hook and a power statement that the Jasmin suggests, so it's now when I chopped it up using Opus Clip, it's all AI. It's pretty spot on where it cuts the clips. Sometimes I have to edit a couple, but I can schedule them pretty quickly and they go automatically onto TikTok, YouTube, and I put them on LinkedIn as well. Not all of it, not LinkedIn only gets the best stuff. Like maybe I'll throw a few to my company page, but LinkedIn events still work because like the real-time attention is the highest form of trust. Like in the age of AI, everyone's looking for authenticity, right? What can you do that's different than AI? It's got to be this. Even videos are all edited and polished. This is so authentic. You build familiarity really quickly. I'm a big believer in this thing called the mere exposure effect, right? Which just means that the more times that somebody sees you, like repetitively, the more they're exposed to you, the more familiar you are. That just means that they're more likely to trust you, more likely to buy from you because you're more familiar. Simple as that. So I always think about social. How can I get more exposures or more, like my prospects to see me more where I'm adding value? Building trust, so they're more likely to buy from me than the next person. Exposure to new audiences. Jasmin's a great one. Like leverage Jasmin's audience. That was the biggest Monday Night Live of this year when he came on, as you can imagine. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I private messages sometimes when I want to push an event big time, especially if I've got a big guest on. I want to make sure there's numbers there. What I'll do is I'll hit up our mutual connections and I'll private message them and I'll say, hey, by the way, I'm going live with Jasmin on Monday. Welcome to join us. So normally I have to explain a little bit about the guest, but with Jasmin, I was like, I've got a feeling they all know who he is. So it was like very short, that message. And yeah, while going live and actually adding value, you're building awareness, consideration, and automatically. So that's something that Chris Do even talks about as well, who's been on here before, building authority through every stage of the customer journey just by storytelling and teaching in public. So I'm going to go through some virtual stuff and then we'll go into like live events because I'm a big believer in live events as well. They're a little bit different. So where's the value with virtual? So it's build brand, sell something at the event. You can offer a lead magnet, email follow-up. Like if you ask most people, or if you read a blog article about LinkedIn events, like that's what it would tell you. But there's all this other stuff as well, right? So you move people down your pipeline, you build brand authority. Sponsorships is a great way to just fund what you're doing, right? I've toured the country here. I've gone to Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, and sponsors pay for the whole thing. Like I don't pay for anything. They're actually quite easy to get. You can imagine the streaming software that I'm using, all of the ones I've used have sponsored me. The social media college, I just love to be involved in this kind of thing. And it's like your own personal development workshop. I don't know if anyone's here has an interview series before or a podcast, but one of the benefits that I never thought about really before I started one is that you're actually like creating your own university by who you interview and you just learn so much. I highly recommend starting one just for that reason. Like how else can you have one-on-one time with some thought leader that you want to pick their brain? And I found that the best interviews are always when you're genuinely curious. So it means that you have less preparation, you're going to have better questions, and those are the best pieces of content. These is just some commercial examples, right? So like landed Grant Cardone as a client. So middle of the interview, right? I said to him, Grant, I think I can help you with your LinkedIn. And he's still on camera, right? So he's like, yeah, man, let's do it. And they wanted me to scrape like all of LinkedIn, the stuff that they wanted me to do. I was like, I can't do all that. So we let them go. When I won best use of LinkedIn, so in Australia, we got the Social Media Marketing Awards and there's a category for LinkedIn, right? The two times that I've won, one was for LinkedIn Heroes, which is an interview series, and the other was for Monday Night Live. So they're actually content pillars because I reckon that if you're coming up with content all the time, like if you're thinking of new ideas all the time, I find it quite challenging. Whereas if I come up with like a show and we're interviewing entrepreneurs that are making an impact and we're doing that every week, then I know what the content is. It makes it really easy for me to come up with new pieces of content. And by the way, when I won Best Use of LinkedIn, for LinkedIn Heroes, I was the only finalist that didn't spend any money on ads. The only one. It's crazy. So I've looked this up. This is the bit of research that I did do before this event. So what are the biggest challenges with events? So they're pretty similar, but LinkedIn events is navigating the tech, right? Getting registrants to actually show up, balancing structure and personality, weak topic naming, no leverage repurposing, right? So the leverage is the only reason I can spend my time on this. Like if it was just the event, I wouldn't be able to justify it. It's a lot of effort and you're doing it every week. So being able to create those clips, to create opportunities outside of it, to post those podcasts, and to even be able to practice each week my delivery on new topics and keeping myself fresh in the industry is the only way I can justify the amount of time I spend on it. But if I'm doing it every week, if I was doing one a month, I would have 4-5 times as many people there, easily. I'd probably have more than that. Because the social, once you've got 100 or 200 people, you start to get higher conversions. So if you haven't used LinkedIn Live before, you'll need to use a third-party tool. You can do it through Zoom, and there's this thing called OBS Studio, which if you're not a tech guy, like will just it will just confuse it. Like I paid a fortune to learn how to use it, and I don't. It's just I just find it too tricky. I use StreamYard. I used to use Restream. I find StreamYard more user-friendly. And if you want to check it out, there's my affiliate link down there. I don't know if you get a discount. You probably do. That was my first Monday Night Live. So Monday night, I go live every week. So you can the difference, the way that I've packaged it up. And it's just because people's attention span is so much shorter. You focus on one topic and you've got to get in you've got to raise your energy. I think that that's probably the most important thing when you go live. And I'm a little bit, if you see me in a meeting, I'm a little bit like more logical, a bit less energy, right? So you've got to get yourself in the right state. And I managed to find this clip of me doing just that, right? So look, you guys, if you're going to get yourself in state before you go live, you can do whatever you want, but you're going to look a little bit. If you put some music on, do some dancing, or maybe some breathing, maybe you have to go outside and just roar at the sky, whatever you have to do. But this is what I used to do. This is while I'm listening to the Rocky soundtrack, getting ready for Monday Night Live. And this was a common occurrence. So there you go. Practicing what I preach. So yeah, you've got to have a strategy, right? So the quality of the content was important to me, mainly because of who my clients are. So I target investment banks, financial services companies. They kind of expect me to have high quality content. So I've always had videographers and high quality content. The concept, the audience, how to monetize. You've always got to focus on ROI before you start everything, and leverage, as I've already said. Make a plan, right? So you've got to come up with the ideation, packaging, distribution, all that stuff. I think the ideation is more important than people having the right, because if you have these topics, right? I've been guilty of using these before, but they just don't work. Like they're not driving any emotion. They're not giving anything specific. They're not giving any specific outcome. To be honest, they're not really about the audience, are they? Right? So you got to use like something like this to focus on the outcome and then mention the pain. So how to build trust without posting daily, how I filled 400 seats without ads, that kind of thing. They're the same as YouTube. So what you want to do, like to get your ideas, is go onto YouTube or Instagram. Like the best ideas won't come from LinkedIn. They'll come from you get ideas from other platforms and you integrate them on LinkedIn. Quick tricks, add a number, make it time relevant. I mean, if you put 2026 in anything, it'll do well. The fear of missing out's probably it's the biggest driver of purchase that I've come across. Fear of missing out. So people are dead scared of missing out on any information, of their competitors getting ahead of them. So if you use that right in your marketing at all stages during the live as well. And polarity is always something that drives engagement, as you guys know. As you guys know, you got to use it carefully though. Social proof increases attendance by 30%. So when you set up your LinkedIn event, the last thing you want to do is set it up and then start marketing it like 2 weeks later. What you want to do is get some numbers there first, so that when people come there, they can see some people have already registered. And then what you want to do is, as you build the numbers, post that in the comment. Oh wow, we got 30 people registered already. We got 7 days to go. It's already 50 people or 10 people, whatever it is. Mention that social proof, because anyone that's looking at it that hasn't registered will think about it. And anyone that has registered, that's forgotten they registered, are more likely to come. Okay. So, yeah, you can leverage things like testimonials and guest credibility, that kind of stuff. I also leverage user generated content. So when I interviewed Grant Cardone and Elena Cardone, I actually gave them a bunch of clips, and Grant didn't post any, but Elena posted a bunch. And that drove a lot of traffic back to my profiles. There was another guy called, you might not know him, but he's famous in Australia, a guy called Jules Lund. When he posted a couple of assets that I gave him, they went absolutely bananas, right? So you're solving a problem for them. You're giving them content. So as long as it's good, they'll post it. I think that with YouTube, I don't know if any of you guys use YouTube, but I'll just say that when I go live on LinkedIn, I'm also going live on YouTube at the same time. And I find that the live doesn't do as well evergreen on YouTube as when you upload a video. So what I actually do is record it on my camera as well. And then I might upload it like a couple of weeks later as its own video. And it gives me the opportunity to cut all of the ums and ahs if I want to, right? Adobe does that for you automatically. So I can automatically do it, which is pretty cool. Because I don't always script my lives, okay? But I've just started in the last 6 months scripting the intro and the outro, right? So that's consistent. I had this really awesome coach who was helping me with Monday Night Live. And he said to me, he goes, Nathaniel, just pretend I'm not here. Do the intro with as much energy as you possibly can. So it's like ridiculous. So anyone who was watching would just laugh at you, right? And so I was like, welcome to Monday Night Live. And I was going nuts, right? And he's like, that's how you got to do it, mate. So like, I never even like felt comfortable going to that level. And I don't go quite there, to be honest, but like I do go a lot more energetic than I used to, and I feel comfortable, feel normal going. So you really do need to raise your energy. I find it a lot easier standing up. That's why I've got the standing desk. And this backdrop is like, I mean, if I knew how much time I would waste on lighting and cameras and all that stuff before I started, I would have just stuck with my mobile phone. But I'm in here now. I've got the neon light, just like every live show. And yeah, all this is, right, is this is just vinyl, what do you call it? Vinyl wallpaper off Temu. It's cheap as chips, and you just put it up. And then because you've got a black background, what it does is it absorbs the light. It doesn't reflect the light. So therefore you can have colored lights in the background, and it just lights up you. If you want that effect I don't know if it's worth it or not once you realize how much time goes into figuring it all out. I didn't realize photography and videography was such a big skill, but it is. There's something I just want to touch on. I'm not going to go for too long today because I want Jasmin and I to have a conversation and do some Q&A as well. That's a horse's head. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm about to talk about, but there's this thing called the significant object study. It's pretty cool. If you're into storytelling, like this just shows you where the ROI is, right? So this was bought for 99 cents. What they did is they got 200 objects for around about $1 each, okay? And then they got 200 volunteers who were writers or authors to write a story about each of the objects, and then they uploaded them back up to eBay and put the story there in the description and see how much they sold for. So this horse's head with a story attached sold for $62.95. Crazy. And then 200 items, $250 sold for $8,000. So of course, if you can tell stories, your brand goes up, the value of your brand goes up. And to be in the last 3 or 4 years, I put my prices up by 6 times, now that I think about it. 6 times what they were. The figure that I'm offering to clients now, when first time I said that figure to clients, I was just like waiting for them to laugh at me. And then they're just like, okay. And then the second one, Okay. Third one, was that in your price range? Yep. I was like, what the hell? Why didn't I do this earlier? But these are guys that are indoctrinated by listening to stories. They remember the stories, and then there's that you've just got an edge. There's no competition once they've been indoctrinated, right? So the biggest thing I try to do with new prospects is get them to my YouTube channel because if I get them there, then there's no competition. They're sticky if they like what they see. I don't hear about the ones that don't, right? So the idea is when you're on a live stream, you don't want to come across as salesy. It's the biggest mistake I see people make on LinkedIn. Everyone's selling something. I don't see anyone that's going live and not selling anything. And look, we're all building brand. We're all the objective is to sell, but you don't sell through selling, if that makes sense, right? What you want to do is sell through storytelling. So if you know what your main objections are when you get to the close, knock them over with stories throughout the content because by the time you ask for an offer or you give them an opportunity to DM you or something, they haven't got any objections left and you just do it through storytelling. So everyone who's an expert at what they do at some point wasn't, right? So all you got to do is think about, when was it that I wasn't an expert? How did that feel? What was it what was the epiphany that I had that made me realize blah 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 blah? And then that's how you overcome the objection because you're going in sideways through storytelling. They open up their brain and you're able to plant new ideas in there. The Epiphany Bridge is actually developed by Russell Brunson, who's like one of the most hardcore salespeople out there. So there's not like I don't agree with it. Like what? It's not that I don't agree with what he does. I think he's a very clever man. It's just not in line with my brand and my values. But this Epiphany Bridge story, I think, is something that it's really easy for everyone to integrate into their business. So look it up if you like. Russell Brunson's talk about the story. I mean, I tell one about when I started my company, I had no money, right? And I just lost my job. I was about to get evicted. And I used LinkedIn to reach out. Basically, I made an appointment with a real estate agency and made 15 grand in my first day. I basically decided to start a business to work my way out of debt. But anyway, like if you've heard that story, you probably remember it. When I get stopped at airports and stuff, or like people come to me completely out of the blue and sign up as a client, more often than not, they say, "Oh yeah, I remember that story. I watched that video about how you started your company, and like I like totally relate, and I had a similar experience." It's always because of that. I've never had anyone stop me. Jasmin probably has, but I've never had anyone stop at an airport or something because of a blog post I've written or like a written post. It's always been through storytelling and videos. Some neuroscience that I'm not going to go too much into this, to be honest, but like you got to understand that most people who are like watching your content on LinkedIn, they're either on the train or they're like at their office desk or they're normally experiencing cortisol. Right. So if you can pattern interrupt that and get them to experience one of these brain chemicals like dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins, there's all this science behind it, right? It increases trust, playfulness, openness, empathy, connection, all these things that would be great for prospects to have when you want to talk to them about doing business. And so you just do that through. So I'm not going to go into that in too much detail, but there's like loads of science behind everything I'm telling you. One of the things that you want to do to drive engagement, because you don't want people falling asleep, it's too easy for people to leave when you're going virtual, is a call to comments. That's what I call it. So basically get them to drop in the comments things as you're going to keep them awake. And there's statistics that show that people learn a lot more when they're engaged. And so that's one way that you can do it on lives. So whenever I go live on Monday Night Live, the first thing I say is, let me know what city you're tuning in from. And that's to get people commenting and get people engaging. And you can ask a bunch of different questions. Okay. Interview shows. Right. So why do most of them fail? So most of them are boring. That's probably the biggest thing, right? So if you're doing an interview with somebody, you've got to get straight into the content right away or record it first and cut the start off because that's the most important part, as we know, right? The hook and bad audio and video qualities. It's got to a point now where it's just unacceptable, really. So if you're doing like the interviews over Zoom, you've got to make sure you've got a decent webcam. So with LinkedIn Heroes was like where I was interviewing entrepreneurs making an impact. Now, I'm sharing this because this is one of my first shows, and I want to share with you how I growth hacked the audience because I didn't have one, right? So what I actually did, so first of all, you can like do it yourself. And if you're going to do it yourself, when it comes to like the video part of it and the tech side of it, don't overcomplicate it. Our telephones are really good. Just use that and like a selfie stick or hire a videographer, which I did because you don't want to be spending time thinking about the actual production when you're creating content. Now, this is a really good idea as well. Don't do like a 1 hour interview. Do it like 5 minutes. 10 minutes. You can punch them out really quickly. And people will love that because it's just a short, snackable piece of content. You could ask a similar question each time. I asked 5 questions that went for 10 minutes every episode, and I would share what was going on behind the scenes. Like my audience was so excited when I landed Grant Cardone as a client before I even interviewed him. Just the fact that they knew I was getting on a plane to go because they knew how much I worked on getting that interview. And if you look through my DM, like I've been messaging him and his team and Success Resources who flies him here for a year and a half. I'm lucky I didn't get a restraining order. But this is when you are getting guests, right? If you don't have access to people like Grant Cardone or Jasmin, this is what you do. Okay, you interview the people that have interviewed them. Right. This is what I did at the start. I didn't interview just anyone. I go, okay, well, I can't get these guests yet, but what podcasts have they been on? I'm going to interview the host. And you know what's interesting? The hosts don't get asked to go on shows that often. So they're like, hell yeah, I'd love to. And they're so excited. If you give them a good experience and then you say at the end, oh, by the way, who can you introduce me to? You'd be surprised what happens. So the first thing I do when I get a guest is send them to Calendly. They get an agenda of the interview, very simple one pager. And then after the interview, all through Calendly, they get an email asking for an introduction to another guest and to leave me a Google review. It's the fastest way for you to get the biggest guest. So I did this I think I did probably 4 or 5 interviews until one of the interviews was an event organizer, and I saw Dr. John DeMartini. Some of you might be familiar with him. I followed a lot of his personal development stuff. I found out he was coming to Australia, and I was like, oh, I know that event company. So I private messaged her and I said, do you reckon you could get me an interview with John DeMartini tomorrow? It was like tomorrow night. And she's like, oh, I'll ask, I'll find out. Anyway, she's like, yeah, they'll do it. But you've got to be there after the event at like 11 p.m. But it's like also not for sure. Like it's a maybe, but you got to be there and maybe you can have 10 minutes with him. And that was the catalyst. That was like my first big interview. Look how excited I was so excited, right? That I got home, edited the thing and posted it at 1 a.m., right? My whole audience was local. So it just didn't do very well, right? So I posted it the next week in the morning. So that's a big tip that you guys would all know. I posted in the morning and it did really well. And then later on got Grant Cardone. And once you get a guest like that, it's just so easy to get the next one because all I have to do is DM somebody on Instagram. By the way, the celebrities and all that stuff are on Instagram. That's where you get the guests. That's probably the only reason. That's the only thing I get business related out of Instagram is just getting like guests like this. And so you DM them and say, hey, I just interviewed Grant Cardone. Do you want to come on the show? Simple. So once you get one, it's very easy to get the next one and so on and so forth. But I learned more interviewing him for half an hour than I would have learned in going a 3-day. What he told me off camera was just epic. It was so useful. I was like, where am I going wrong? And he just laid it out for me. It was great. And we got it. Yeah, we didn't agree on everything, but there you go. I told you about that, so I won't go into it. This is off-person events. So I met this Instagram coach and we aligned on a lot of things in terms of like adding value and how we communicate through content. And we suggested like doing an event called LinkedIn versus Instagram. Now it's a very different kind of event than the how-tos and all this sort of educational stuff because of the way it's being marketed. So it was like the ultimate showdown. We had these cool videos with like aerial shots of Australia, and we went to every city. We actually did 3 tours, like 3 years in a row. This is one of the screenshots from the event in Melbourne. And by the way, every city was like this. We had 850 people registered for the event, right? Now, not 850 people rocked up, but there would have been at least 150 in each city. In Perth, there was about 300 people. But one of the reasons that we were able to get that many people there is just purely because of the social proof. Like I was happy to have that many people registered just so that, the conversion rate of people actually showing up was going to be higher. So don't expect everyone to come. It'll be about a third, especially if you're doing them in person, and you've got to remind them. Like I've got clients that I do LinkedIn events for, and they're like, "Oh, we've got 150 people. We can only hold 100. We're done." And they run around telling everyone. I'm like, "Hang on. Registration's only the first step. We got to get people there." And so that's where the DMs become really useful. This LinkedIn versus Instagram thing was all sponsored by Social Media College. That's the director there in the middle of us. And then we had every city we went to, we had a video agency sponsor us, a photographer sponsor us, the venue was sponsored. So we made money just by doing the tour, even though we didn't charge anyone to come along to the events. One of the biggest lessons I learned, though, like I said, it's an in-person event, it's very different, right? Marketing, especially from one year to the next year to the third year, by the third year, in every single communication about the event, I wasn't telling them anything about the event. That was advice from Grant Cardone. He's like, don't tell. Because his 10X conference, if you look at his website, he didn't tell you anything about it. He said, no, just create a mystery. Like, it's just big lights and boom, 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 it's 10, brother. And it works. It works. People, I guess it triggers FOMO. We deliver value at the event, but we don't even tell them what LinkedIn versus Instagram is. For all they know, it could be a boxing match, right? So they just came along, like to be a part of it, and we delivered value, and everyone's feedback was really good. That's why we did it 3 years in a row. And then my partner in crime, she sold her business. Leverage guests. So this is how I leveraged Jasmin Alec, right? So yeah, just reminded some of the people that were registered, hey, how are you? I'm going live with Jasmin next Monday. Should be fun. Oh, sorry. No, this is Mutual Connections. They haven't registered yet, right? So very easy. We got a huge conversion rate from these DMs because everyone's so familiar with Jasmin, right? So you want to interview people that have got some sort of, they don't have to have a huge following, but they need to have experience on camera or communicating or speaking. You want to do it with people who don't have experience because they'll turn up, right? And they'll be outside on their laptop and there'll be wind in the background or whatever it is. And just ruin all the hard work that you put in to get the audience there. 70% is the statistic of virtual registrants never attend live. So when I do offline events now, there's always a paid, even if it's $20, I don't care, as long as they show, because then they'll show up. If people are registered, you can also message them and just like remind them and say, thanks for being there. The first time I saw the power of DMs for LinkedIn events, for events in general, I was being interviewed. It was one of my first times I was interviewed as a business owner by the Entrepreneur Club in Melbourne. And I called him up the day before, 2 days before the event. And I said, how many people we got booked? He goes, 100. I said, how many can the venue hold? He said, 300, but I'm going to see if we can move it to a smaller space because we've only got 100 people coming. I said, hang on. Let me see if I can get the numbers up through LinkedIn. And so I got my team to send out 1,000 messages from me, inviting them along as my guest. There was pizzas and stuff. It's a nice gesture. You're inviting someone to an event. We got 330 odd people jam-packed the room. And I said at the start of who's here? Because they got an invite from me. And like more than half of the room put their hand up. It's crazy, the power of it when you do that personalized DM. Not like all the rubbish that you see in your inbox. Like I'm talking really making it personalized. And I did all right with time, didn't I? How long did that take? 43 minutes. So yeah, now I'd love to answer some questions. Yeah.
And let me hop on in as well. So first, if I could have the honors of asking you questions myself, and then we can take questions from the audience. That works?
Yeah, cool.
Okay, amazing. Anyone else who wants to jump on stage with us as we usually do this, just raise your hand on Zoom. There's the feature down there. Just raise your hand and then we're going to go one by one. But first, I have some questions and I'm going to keep it very, very rapid fire. Okay. Very rapid fire. So just quick questions, quick answers. And then afterwards, I feel like you're going to get much longer questions. You ready?
Yes, man.
Perfect length for a LinkedIn Live event, in your opinion?
You will see when the audience is fatigued, right? Like, I mean,
but you got to make a plan, though. You got to make a plan beforehand.
Yeah, well, that's just because I've been doing it a long time. I kind of know that. Yeah, they'll go for they like it to be longer. Like I can go 45 minutes, no problem. Which can be a challenge sometimes if you're not too well prepared. Because sometimes I'm just coming straight out of meetings, straight into it. But I try to make it at least half an hour because then you've shared some stories. I'm getting better at starting a story. By the way, opening that curiosity loop, delivering some value and then coming back to it. And it's a storytelling technique that I try to use. I always start with a story. It's really sharpened my storytelling skills and I can access them really quickly now. It's great practice.
Okay. I'll give my own 2 cents here. My experience has been minimum 1 hour, always. And that should be the one you promote. Now, if you go like 50 minutes, 55, it's fine if it ends up a little bit earlier. But if you also go a little overboard, it's fine. But that's just my advice, my recommendation. What I do personally is I go way beyond any of that because I can. I'm very different when it comes to my lives.
They're the
I don't think
best.
I don't think I've ever done a live on LinkedIn specifically that was less than 90 minutes ever. It's
That's
always been
great.
at least 2 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's brilliant. Yeah, no, they're always the best ones. You're right. Like it's just how well have you marketed? Because you're getting a lot more people than I am every week because like I can't. It's just hard to market. I'm just hoping that LinkedIn's going to change their infrastructure soon because it's like they've really done it. They've really made it really difficult for us. Like there's no other weekly live shows that I know about. No one else is stupid enough to do
Yeah,
it.
no one else wants to do it with no one wants that kind of dedication. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, at least I can own this space.
Yeah, that is true. Another one. What matters more, good audio or good video on a LinkedIn Live?
Audio.
I say too. I say good audio too. For
On bad.
example,
You can't have bad audio. Yeah.
yeah, that is very true. And it's psychologically proven. Like for a lot of people, you might not know this. It's psychologically proven that bad audio, like you can probably hear the difference between my mic, and I purposely did this today to demonstrate it, just so I have my gear right here. Because this tinny microphone is slightly different from what Nathaniel's using right in front of him. So if you do have the genuinely, there's Audio Technica microphones. I just bought it. There's a creator package they just started selling last year. It's literally called Audio Technica Creator Package. It comes with the microphone, it comes with the boom arm, the actual adjustable arm of the microphone, which you can screw into your table and like really, really fix it. And it comes with headphones. And it's around $100. So
That's
it's
great.
beautiful because you can travel with it. You can mount it anywhere. You can even record it on a beach and you can still get good audio out of it. That's just my recommendation for everyone here who's looking for something really, really good on a budget. In fact, I've used it in a lot of our lives right here in a lot of the master classes because I'm traveling a lot and I always carry that with me. I always carry that Audio Technica bag with me. Okay,
Yeah.
another one, Bibby. Do you feel like sometimes having guests is a downgrade? Like people feel like they need guests?
I look, I actually get better feedback from my audience when it's just me. That's generally what they appreciate more. And so and I've been doing a lot more of just me lately, purely because of that. Also because I want to practice more. Getting guests along will bring in new people to your audience, like to the live for sure. That's awesome. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're just facilitating the conversation, right? And you're hoping that it adds value to your audience as well. But I think if you're doing that all the time live, like they're not actually hearing from you. I think that you've got to do both.
Yeah, I agree. You got to do both. I just feel like personally, this is just my personal opinion. A lot of people fall into this trap. Oh, I feel like people need a new perspective. And it's a lie. It's the imposter syndrome kicking in. You often tell this to yourself and you feel like, oh, I need some guests. I need something new. I need not to
Yeah.
be this repetitive week in and week out, especially if you're doing it on a recurring basis. My experience is
Yes.
don't let that fool you. Like it's a trap. If people didn't want
Yeah.
to hear from you, they wouldn't be showing up genuinely. Like the guests are a
Hmm.
bonus. The guests are not a must. And this is me
Do you
telling
know what,
everyone
Grant?
here, just
Yeah.
if you want to launch a LinkedIn Live and you never launched one for the fear of I by myself am not enough, I need someone else to have that kind of authority to actually host a live event. Don't just stop lying to yourself. You can actually launch your own LinkedIn Live with your own audience. Even if 10 people are listening, that's more than enough to convert one. Imagine converting one client out of every live call you do. That's great ROI, let alone two, five, or 10. So that's
10's
just,
perfect to start with because that's you want to start. You got to practice, right? You got to
yeah.
be pretty rubbish at the start. So that 10's perfect. But you know what Grant Cardone said to me, like off camera? I said, what do I need to do differently? He goes, man, you need to interview people you just disagree with,
Oh, 100%. This is why I
right?
love bringing experts into our community who do things differently than I do. For example, the stuff I teach, like a lot of people vibe with that kind of approach, right? Because that's what drew them to me and the entire link up community here in the first place. But then I love bringing people who do like 99% cold outreach. For example, Charlotte. Charlotte was here twice. And we always have these really, really productive sessions, right? And then other people who are like Ruben, for example, he was here, like he's completely all in for AI writing. But I love giving
Yeah.
people different perspectives, not for the sake of argument, but for the sake of, hey, there's more than one way to do things right. And
Yeah.
it's just great. It's just great. It makes for great conversation. When you really think about it, great podcasts are really people disagreeing with each other. Like when you hear
Well,
two perspectives
yeah.
instead of one.
They're comfortable being themselves. Like that's what it
Yeah.
comes down to. They're comfortable being authentic, saying what they think, just leaning into that, I think is probably the most valuable skill you can have when it comes to this whole personal branding thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And one more thing, do people really need a studio or can they just record from a regular room like this?
Dude, you don't need a studio. The amount of hours I've wasted.
I know.
Like, I overthink it so much. It's ridiculous. Like, nobody cares. It's like having your own intro.
You're
Like,
100%.
I have a song that plays at the start of my lives because you need some time for people to join the live, and I don't want to just sit there. I want to get straight into it. So I always used to stop lease stuff off the internet, but I get it flagged every time I upload to YouTube, and then I got to peel it. So I was like, said to my friend who's a DJ, "Can you make me a Monday Night Live intro track?" And he made it like Matt Bibby Monday Night Live. Yeah, it's
Now
pretty
it's
cool.
actually quite easy. You can just get an AI tool to create something for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
It's
I
kind
got
of
to be done.
what's it called? The podcast like distribution website. I can't
Oh,
think of it.
I use
Uh,
Spotify for creators, is what I use.
no,
Or
no, no, not Spotify for creators. It's the other one that like links to every podcast platform at once.
Stitchers.
I'll,
I've
I'll,
tried out one
I'll
of these audio AI platforms. They are they're so good.
but they can actually create that little jingle for you
Yeah,
based on the
yeah. I'm
energy.
getting a
Yeah,
new
based
one
on the
done.
energy. There you go.
My
And it creates
my
it in like 5 minutes.
my ex is on the intro currently, so I'm getting a new one. Well, like I've got to
There
get
you
change
go.
that intro track, man.
There you go, man. What I used to do back in my lives, I would just go to Spotify and I would literally type in, this is a life hack for everyone. Because usually that kind of music is not licensed. So this is a life hack for everyone. Just type in elevator music. So I literally would type elevator music on Spotify. And at the very beginning of the lives, I would just take my phone and I would plug it into the microphone like really close, and the music will be playing, right? And then like as we go, the fade in of the mic comes in and the phone kind of just dishes away into the background. And it was perfect because it never got flagged.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yep.
because it's just regular creators creating that kind of stuff, just uploading it to Spotify, hoping someone hears it. So I literally typed in elevator music. Anyhow, so many little things.
Yep.
I would love to get questions from the audience. Currently, we have Fadi, Sharka, Lamia, Alina, Shelly, Robert, and that's it. Those 5 hands are raised at the moment. 6. If anyone else wants to ask their question while we are currently on the live, feel free to raise your hand. Fadi, we're gonna go first with you, my man. How's it going, good man? And also, one thing, because we're short on time, just keep it quick. We all love Bibby, but just question. Let's keep it moving. Thank you, buddy.
Okay, first of all, thank you so much. I just attended Bibby's yesterday's LinkedIn Live. I'm one of the stupid people that have been doing weekly live since it was audio. So I was just one of the people that you mentioned. And it's quite interesting for all the reasons that you mentioned. So my question directly to you, for me, it was one of the best lead generating tools, but would love to hear more from you in terms of how do you, let's say, monetize that in terms of lead generation, sponsorship. I mean, how to turn that community into a business. And that's my whole question. Thank you.
Well, yeah, I think about social media as relationships. So a lot of caught up on the numbers, right? How many people are attending? I think about the quality of the relationship. So are these people, do I actually know them? Have I spoken to them? Do they follow me on other chat? So it's a quality of the nature of the audience. So when I get a sponsor and I recommend them, a lot of them buy because they know me on a deeper, they've got a closer relationship with a lot of the people in the audience. A lot of people come back week after week, but the value is always been with events. It's like you might have 150 people there, but if you've got those 3 prospects sat at the back corner with the big budget, right? The other guys can just be there to learn. If you close those 3 as a result of them seeing you speak from stage and hearing your stories and speaking in public, that's where all the value's been. I mean, even when I used to sell from stage, right? I might sell to 47 people and it might be a $500 product, but that one whale at the back spends $70,000, right? And that's always where the biggest value is always in the high value clients. And that's just the way my business model works though. This is not everyone does that. Some people sell subscription services and they need the volume. But for me, I work with less clients and I've got higher margins. And so if I can just get one of them in the room, that's always where I've got the biggest return on investment. But you got to continue the conversation to answer. It's not about just getting them to the event. It's also like building the relationship, having the conversation. Because if you use LinkedIn to create conversations, wherever you do it, whether it's LinkedIn Live or in your content DMs, take the conversation offline. because then you've just taken it to another level. Like now you're you've got more than just words. You've got tonality and all that stuff, right? Words are just 7%, they say. So you're building a real relationship. Now, if you build relationships with the right types of prospects, you'll make sales. Like you don't even have to sell. If you build relationships with the right people, sales will eventuate.
That's a good answer. I like that. Shark, you're next.
Yes, hi, Bibby. Thank you so much.
Hey.
I love your energy. I have two quick questions. So, your live events. So, first you started the LinkedIn lives, and then you started to do the live events. Did I understand it correctly?
Well, yeah, you could do events. I did events for a long time, and then Facebook had live, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool," but I don't have any. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not a big Facebook guy, so I was like, "LinkedIn will get it eventually." So I already had the concept for Monday Night Live planned out before, and when they announced it, I was ready to go. So it was one of the first shows really on LinkedIn, and I just got so many people. What actually happened was, when my daughter was born, I stopped posting content for like 6 months, but then 6 months became like a year and a half. So I didn't do a Monday Night Live for like a year and a half, 2 years or something. And when I came back, it was just like it was like a different marketplace. Like I had to start from scratch. I always talk about consistency, and I was like, my audience will still be there. They weren't. I had to start again, but I've done it before. So it took maybe 4 or 5 months before I could get like a regular audience back there, but they're all different people. So you got to stay consistent. It's really important. I learned the hard way.
Thank you. And the second quick question is, have you tried LinkedIn local events, like to organize?
Yeah. I mean, like I organize my own meetups locally, and I choose who comes along to those. So I find that those LinkedIn local ones, they don't really have my target audience in them. It's a bit like, I don't know, I find it a bit like going to a BNI meeting. I used to be a member of BNI before I knew how to generate leads on LinkedIn. So I don't really go to those sort of things. But if I was traveling overseas, I definitely would go check it out, because it's just, I don't know. It's just what it's like in my city. It's not my target audience there at all.
I like that answer. Also, for meetups, I will just say everyone. I'll link up meetups, best meetups in the world.
Yeah, 100%. Link up meetups, guys. Even if you got to fly to Bosnia, those are the ones to go to.
I know for a fact there's going to be at least one Australian man in April in Bosnia.
For sure. Yeah, I just got to win one of these contests.
There you go, man. Hey, by the way, that's a big oh. I already have the next challenge down for the next winner for the Bosnia trip, just so you know, guys. So it's kind of funny because we're going to have one winner for Q1, which is going to be determined by the end of this year. And we're going to have one winner for Q2, which is going to be perfect because the meetup's actually going to be in April. So we're going to have two winners on the next meetup in April. So not one, but two winners again. Anyhow, I'll let you know more about.
I'll book up, man. I was so close to coming the last one.
I know.
It was like a 40-hour trip for me. I was like, I can't do that.
Tell me about it, man. Also, I'm coming over there to you as well next year, just so you know.
Okay, cool.
There we go.
Sounds good.
Anyhow, let me welcome. Question, please.
Really amazing stuff you shared with us today. And I'm wondering, I'm a really small account. And if I do solo live event, I'm probably going to have like 5 to 10 people. So should I just start with collaborations instead of that part where less people come to me as solo?
No, I think that you can start with 5 to 10 people. That's totally fine. I mean, you're gonna get some feedback, and while you're doing that, grow your connections. Like you can grow your audience relatively quickly on LinkedIn just by sending invites. But yeah, you can also experiment with guests. I think you've got to experiment at the start. In my experience, like you've got to try different things to find out what you like and what sticks and what gets traction. Once you find something that works, then you stick with it and be consistent. But you do have to try a few different things at the start. I think you just need to focus on growing your audience at the same time, which just means adding more connections, commenting on their posts, all the stuff that you learn in Link Up. And then on top of that, inviting them to your events as well. And over time, you'll find that your audience just grows.
Also, small bit of advice for everyone who's doubting the attendance numbers on their own lives. Chances are right now you have a few hundred or at least a few thousand people in your network. Chances are. LinkedIn allows you up to 1,000 invites per week for your live events. Up to 1,000 per week. My little hack is between the day that I announce it and the day that it goes live, there needs to be at least 8 days, not 7, 8. Because when it's under 7 days, you can only invite one round of 1,000 people. When it's 7 days, more than seven, like 8 minimum, you can have 2 rounds of invites. So you can invite at least 2,000 people. And the great part about it is you can then ask your community, the friends, the people, the clients, to invite their 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Always try to get your community to do things for you because they're gladly going to do it because they might find value in it. And especially if there's an alternative offer there. For example, next week, we're going to have the announcement for the lifetime memberships, right? Which is still not, I haven't talked about it like, hey, it's live for everyone. I just said it's live in the community for the members. So on the live, I'm really going to be going all in. So whoever has the promo codes, you can actually use the live to make some money. You could possibly on Tuesday, next Tuesday, make a couple $1,000s at the very least.
I've got to get a new t-shirt printed up.
Yeah, and I'm not even exaggerating. Like Bibby knows. Like he posted a link yesterday. He already made like 400, 500 bucks. It's genuinely that easy. So next week you can. I will definitely do my best to have you guys do your best. So anyhow,
yeah, cool.
As far as the invites are concerned, no matter how small your account is, like you still get 1,000 invites per week. So you can invite a lot of people. And 10, no, it's going to be more people. It's going to be more than 10. Well, it's just you as the expert who needs to really gain their attention and keep it throughout the event.
What you should do as well, right, is you go to events, go to the events section and look at some other events in your niche and look who's commenting and add them as connections, right? And then invite them to you because if they're engaging with that sort of content, then they're going to just open you up to such a wider audience because when they comment on your stuff, as a network will see it. Those are great guys. If you haven't got a big audience, to invite people that are already engaging on other events, chances are they'll come along to yours.
Also, one more thing, LinkedIn didn't have this feature always. Like it didn't have this feature always, guys. Now on events, you have this new tab called networking. There's a networking tab now on LinkedIn events. Let me show you. So I'm going to go to LinkedIn on my phone. There we go. I'm going to open up my last event, which I just announced on Friday. So let me show you. This is the event we have right here. So actually, maybe let me just move you off the spotlight really quickly. This is the event we have, right? But you have to click RSVP yes. Like you have to RSVP yes, I will attend. When you hit you will attend, you can actually then see the entire attendees list. And this tab will show up, the networking tab right here. There we go. The networking tab. And then you can see your connections. You can see people from your school or your company, people from your industry, and all the attendees who registered. Now it's a matter of reaching out to people. It's a matter of outreach, right? Now what you do is first focus on warm outreach, meaning people you already know and who already have in your connections. Oh my God, you're also going to be at Jasmin's event? Let's do it. But you can also use it for some client pitching. You can also use it for some really, really, really calm pitching. I don't think I've ever used the term with you guys, but calm pitching, right? Like next week, you're going to have your promo codes. Have this list handy. Have it handy beforehand. Pick a few people. No, genuinely, pick a few people who you know trust you already because you've been commenting with them. And then tell them all about how amazing LinkUp is. And hey, here's the code. Like you can actually save a little if you're actually interested. Make yourself some money. And do them a favor as well because they're going to be saving up. Anyhow, there's that new tab that didn't exist before. It's called networking. But first you have to click, yes, I will attend. Anyhow, Alina, are you here with us? Alina has the hand raised.
Yes, I am. Hi, I'm sorry.
My
camera is just not working today. But Bibby, thank you so much for the amazing content. And just right on time, tonight I have, a LinkedIn Live. Not so much on LinkedIn because I prefer to take it off LinkedIn. For a matter of reasons, because I'm collecting email addresses for my newsletter. But I do intend to start on a weekly basis, on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, my live events on LinkedIn. And my question is, do I build around the time that is more convenient for me or more convenient to the most of my audience?
Well, that's a good question, isn't it? I mean, the correct answer is what's best for your audience, but if it's hard to show up at the same time. I had to do what was convenient for me as well. Otherwise, I know I wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
You know, Monday sucks, by the way, to do. That's the worst day to do like a live, especially for when I started 5 years ago. I was almost always hungover on Mondays, and they have long weekends in Australia, right, as well. If it's a long weekend, your Monday is a holiday. And so I would have just come back from the beach. Oh, God, I did this live thing again. But anyway, I got it out of the way, and that's how I stay consistent. So the answer is you got to consider both, to be honest.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was a great question. I'm not going to tell you anything, guys, because I addressed it, I believe, at the very beginning of this call, because we're a pretty global bunch, and it's very hard to kind
Yes.
of pinpoint the perfect. Just do what works for you, and always have your audience kind of adjust to you. It is what it is. Because especially if you're going to
Yeah.
be going, you really want to be fresh. You want to make sure that you're giving your audience your best. Because if you wake up, I'll be honest, I loved chatting with Bibby when I was doing his Monday Night Live, but I hated the time. It was 8 a.m. for me. I
It's
had
not a
just
very good
woken.
time for me to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hated
I'd
it.
probably, yeah.
But
Because
we
I
had such
lose
a
the
great
US
chat.
guys. Or like the US clients are the best. And so that's a bad time for me to do it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. You kind of have to find that perfect balance for you guys. It is what it is, you know. Even for some of us here right now on this call, it's like for some people it starts at 5 a.m. For some people it starts at 11 p.m. On the whole other end of the globe. It is what it is. You can't make everyone happy, but at least make yourself happy. That's at least going to make you sleep well. Okay,
Yes.
Shelly, how's it going, Shelly?
Good, good. Hey,
Yo.
baby. So,
Hey.
mine's quick. LinkedIn Live versus the Zoom Live. Because I was thinking of doing some, but for me, Zoom would be easier.
Yeah. I would always do it on LinkedIn. Like I would always do it on LinkedIn. Yeah, that's just me though. Yeah, I would just do it on platform because you get that boost in the feed. But
I have
I
the
think a lot of
perfect
people
answer for
use,
this.
yeah,
If I can chime in.
yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'll always say do a combo. Okay. Do a combo. Do a pre filter live on LinkedIn. So do a standard LinkedIn live for free, right? But then promote a private event that you can also charge for. It could be 20 bucks, 50 bucks. I always say 99 per event. 99. That's like a really, really great price where it's perceived as really high quality, really premium. But what you can now do is you have a live audience who's already interested. You don't have to find them. They're already here. And because the replay stays on LinkedIn, you now have leads coming in throughout the week or throughout the month because it depends on when the date of that other event is. So what I'm saying is do a combo. First event for free on LinkedIn. Do it like just for pure value sharing to get people to fall in love with you. But on the event itself, there's going to be like small little ad breaks. I call them ad breaks. We'll just promote this event that you're going to have after this and leave the link. So this is now where we get a little bit technical. You're going to see me do this live next week. So what you need to have in advance, ready, prepared, is a couple of assets. Those assets are a new headline on LinkedIn, a new banner on LinkedIn, and a new featured section on LinkedIn, and a link or a landing page where you're going to be sending people to. So here's what I will
Yeah.
do. During the live, and only during the live, we're going to have a promo. And only those who are live, they get to make the most out of it. So right before I go live on LinkedIn, my headline will change. My banner will change. My featured section will change. And if I go live for 1 hour, my profile is going to look differently for 1 hour straight. The second the event is over, I'm going to leave it for maybe like 15 or 30 minutes because there's going to be people still watching. And then I'm going to revert back to the old profile. So this is how you get the most interested parties and you also reward them. But here's the trick. You can still reward more people. You can still reward more people because what's going to be happening is they're going to be DMing, oh my gosh, Shelly, I missed the live. Can you please let me know? Can you please give me the promo? Can you please give me the link? Give me the same price. Sure, you can. You're just going to make them feel the FOMO. But what you're actually doing is you're attracting more by having them miss out a little bit more. So that's the same exact playbook I'm going to do next week. You guys are going to see it live. I'm going to have a promo for Link Up, and I'm also going to promote a one-off live event only for doesn't matter. There's going to be a very exclusive live event that they can attend for X amount of dollars, blah, blah, blah. You'll see. You'll see. It's going to be a really, really fun way of doing things because it's live on the call, but still the whole value of that particular call isn't to really sell. It's just pure value sharing. Like as Bibby said, you don't want it to be purely salesy. My opinion is like you can still sell. What I love to do is because it's a very, very long event in my case, I'm going to do at least 2.5 hours next week, at least. I love doing that. As guys, like I stay with you guys, almost every week. Yeah. But what I love to do is every 30 or 40 minutes or so, I like to give myself a break from all the questions and I like to flip the topic. But this also restarts the attention and it almost kind of fills up those attention batteries from all the other people in the audience who still have their questions unanswered. And they're like, yes, we're listening about Link Up. Yes, we're listening about Link Up. Yes, thank you. 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes. And then it's like, okay, let me ask the questions now. So the retention rate doesn't actually go down in my experience. when you do this. Because you have these segments of Q&A value sharing and then 5 minutes of ads, Q&A value sharing and then 5 minutes of ads, the retention rate actually goes up.
Yeah, they're more invested.
Yeah, versus just, hey, I'm going to have this ad thing at the very end, blah, blah, blah. No one's going to stay till the end. Like you have to do it several times during the event. But anyhow, as per your question, do a combo for sure. And if you don't want to do this, if you're like Alina and you're like, I don't want to do the LinkedIn Live period, I just want to do it off Zoom, still announce it as a LinkedIn Live event, okay? Still create an actual LinkedIn Live event post, except the link that's going to say attend is going to be a Zoom link. You can also do this on LinkedIn. When you're setting up your LinkedIn Live event, by the way, it asks you, is it a LinkedIn Live stream or is it an external link? So just plug it as an external link, but still, nonetheless, create a LinkedIn Live event, put the Zoom link, and still invite your people. Every week you get 1,000 invites. So they're still going to be sent.
That's part of where I get hung up, is sending out 1,000 invites. I got shit to do.
It takes 3 minutes.
You can do it really quickly.
It takes 3 minutes. I count it. It takes 3 minutes.
Yeah, I get that from my audience a lot. They're like, it took me ages and I only sent 100. I'm like, yeah, same as you, Jasmin. You were the best at it. I always ask my guests to do it and it's like a nightmare. They're just like, where do I go? What do I do? It's like,
But it's actually pretty smart because you are going to do your part anyhow, right? You're going to have several ways of inviting people. Sorry for the way, Robert. I know Robert is the last in line with his hand. Sorry, man. But this is a really important question. So what you're going to be doing in terms of promoting and sending out invites is you're going to be doing it several different ways. Number one, you're going to post it. So there's going to be a whole new LinkedIn Live post. That's number one. So that's the first time you're inviting them, because everyone's going to see that post. Hopefully everyone, right? As many people see it. The number two way of inviting them is you manually sending those 1,000 invites. And by the way, manually, let me just show you how easy it is. I swear I want to show you this just because people feel like it takes 15 minutes. I'm going to go to my profile. You go to your event. You literally open up the event. You click on invite and then choose a filter. Like with filters, this is key. Like choose a location, United States. There we go.
Choose a location where
scroll all the way. It's going to refresh, scroll, and just hit this little button here that says select all. That's it.
I thought it was one.
No, okay. you just have to select a filter first, and then you're going to get the option to select all. Without the filter, you can't. Just so you know, that's the trick. Takes 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, inside the post, inside the pinned comments.
I'll just drop in the chat. Wendy said you can only do 40 at a time. By the way, I had that same problem last week and then it disappeared. So it's just a bug, I think.
No, on desktop, you can do more. On mobile, sometimes it gets buggy. Everything on mobile, just guys, like this is just general opinion about LinkedIn. Everything on mobile is buggy. The more you can use LinkedIn on desktop, do it. The mobile app sucks. They don't care about the mobile app, unfortunately. All they cared about and all their millions that got invested were in the mobile feed, and that got removed. So now everyone's scrapping up with the leftover budget till the rest of the year, until January kicks in with the new. They don't have anything to fix. They don't have money to fix stuff. This is just the reality of LinkedIn. So the app is going to continue to get buggy until these new updates roll in around New Year's. So anyhow, if you can create your events, invite people, comment, do all the things you need to do, 99% of what you should be doing on LinkedIn should be on desktop, on your laptop, on your computer, not on your phone. The mobile app is buggy as hell, and it's very annoying. Yeah, it takes 3 minutes to invite 1,000 people. 3 minutes, tops.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, gentlemen.
There you go. Hopefully that answers your question. Thank you, Shelly. Yes, Nathaniel. We got one more person with the hand up.
Oh, sure. I was just going to add, though, that you can drop the link for your new event on one of your old events, and the chances are it'll notify everyone that came to your previous event. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense. This is also something you can do with every post, especially after a long break. Here's something that a lot of people don't do. And I know this for a fact because I just told this to Nemanja a couple of weeks ago when we were at a conference. He's also in the community. It's when your reach is getting lower and when you feel like you've changed your posting time and the new audience is kind of stuck with the new time and not a lot of people are seeing it. Here's what you can do very easily to get more reach and more attention and more people on your new posts. The second it goes live, the second you publish something new, drop a pinned comment on your post from yesterday. What's going to happen is everyone who reacted on the previous post is actually going to get a notification of your comment. And maybe a portion of those are going to click on it. Maybe a portion of those are going to check the new post out. That's like a little growth hack trick that you can use. Every time you post something new today, post a comment with the link on your post from yesterday. Everyone who reacted on that post is going to get a notification of your comment. The author's comments, by the way, they get really, really high attention from LinkedIn in the notifications. Your comments are actually pushed quite a bit more than everyone else's. So you can also do this with events. Like you can plug it in your post from yesterday. You can plug it in your previous event from a month ago, because there's going to be a lot of people who are still the most relevant audience. Anyhow, so many things.
You told me that actually. I asked when I first joined the community, I was like, what shall I do to promote this live thing? And you're like, you've got to like just post I'm doing this live thing. And I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. And also do it under every new post as well, like as a pinned comment. Like I am someone who does not just one pinned comment. I don't advise everyone to do this. I do around 5 or 6 or 7 pinned comments per post. Don't do this, guys. I can do this because I get a heap ton of comments, right? I can do it.
Because you're not human.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. So one of those comments is always promoting something relevant, whether it's link up, whether it's keynote I'm doing, whether it's now I'm promoting this live that we're doing next week. And I'm literally posting this same exact link every single day under every single post, one comment each under every post. And it works. I get 50 to 100 new signups. It works. Or I tell people, hey, can you invite some people? It works. So it kind of comes in these small little, it just so effortlessly goes up. So yeah,
I swear there are like 5 Jasmin. You have 4 clones, but like secretly working behind you. I gotta study even how it's possible.
I'll tell you. Sometimes I sometimes surprise myself. Like I looked at it this morning before I posted my post, and I'm looking at my analytics, and it says 400 comments just for Monday, and I'm like, how? When did I write 400 comments? I have no clue.
I've been busy. Yeah.
Like genuinely, I have no clue. But I'm good. Sorry for waiting. Welcome, man. Last but not least.
Hey, no problem. So first, I would like the comment to Alina's question when she asked where's the right time. I'm doing the LinkedIn Lives every week. And
great.
For me, it works when it's best for me. It's Tuesday evening, and I wouldn't be so consistent if it wouldn't meant for me. And my question was actually about these invites, these 1,000 invites, because I saw that if I choose the location like US, and before this change or this glitch, but you answered it, I could click or choose 1,000 at one go. Now it's only 40 or 50, and now you have to go through countries or towns to reach a whole 1,000. That was my question. I thought there's something wrong with me or some hack that I could use.
I noticed it as well, but I can't remember if it was on my mobile or not. But whatever it was, it didn't happen the next day, so it was like temporary. Because I was worried as well. I was like, don't tell me I'm going to have to open the thing and send 50 at a time. But then next day I seemed to be able to do it, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay. That's all for me. Thanks for everything. It was really great from you and Jasmin. It was great.
No, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you, my man. Okay, Bibby, we got no more questions left, but have we missed anything in terms of these lives, man? I feel like there's so many little things that we can talk about, like designing the banner. Do you need it? Like writing the actual post. How do you do that? You know, which platform to use? I know you mentioned StreamYard. By the way, coincidentally, I also use StreamYard. There's all these other ones as well, but I feel like StreamYard is just the least
easy.
Buggy. Yeah.
I mean, it's got better. It used to be a delay, you know, and that's why I was learning about OBS. But going live on multiple, it's just, I don't want to be thinking about that while I'm presenting, you know. But there's just like we've discussed so many ideas. The reality is you just need to kind of hammer everyone from every direction, really have to promote these things. But that's why most people don't do them. So that's why you can stand out if you do.
Yeah, that is very true. And you don't need a big network, like a follower base to start with. Like genuinely, 1,000 invites per week is more than enough. And especially if you have a really strong community, you can just ask people, hey, if everyone can invite them, it takes 3 minutes. Like just click on this one and just scroll, click. That's it. Like that's what I do. And we already got, I literally posted this randomly on a Friday. I never post on Friday. I can show you my content calendar. I have not posted on Friday since 2023, probably. I don't do Fridays. Friday, Saturdays, Sundays for LinkedIn for me. No, I don't do it. And last Friday, I was just sitting there, and let me tell you the reasoning as to why I posted on a Friday. I was like, I'm going to host this live on our anniversary date, which is Tuesday the 25th. And I'm like, if I post it on a Monday, I might forget to invite 1,000 people next week because it's too close. And I'm like, let me post it a few days earlier so I get these 2 cycles of invites, 1,000 now and 1,000 just before the event. And I was like, you know what? It's Friday. I'm waiting for my son to arrive. And it was like 1:15. I got to pick him up at 2. And I was like 1:15. I literally just threw up the design, wrote the post really quickly. And I'm like, let's go. Stay there for like 35, 40 minutes, commented, and I left. And we got 1,200 attendees already, which is nuts. So yeah, and it's going to grow. Like when people get the notification, it's going to grow even further.
Yeah, it's very exciting, man. Yeah, it's very cool. You should do more of them. It's great.
I don't do as many of them. I'll be very honest because I loved LinkedIn audio. For me, there was a certain flavor to LinkedIn audio specifically. And a lot of people didn't agree with me on this, but I proved them very wrong very quickly. Here's why most people loved video lives over audio lives. Number one was the replay functionality. With video lives, you get a replay. With me, I hated the replay. I was like, no, this is part of the experience. This is part of the premium. If you're there, you get all the value. If you're not there, you miss out on all the value. So because there's no replay, because there's no recording, to me, that was a value proposition of audio versus video, right?
Would you just delete it afterwards?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I would still keep it now because it's video. It is what it is. But the other part was, and there was an extra part to it now. It was borrowed authority from other people. And that's going to happen with this event now as well. I am making up for the audio premium because personally for me, the video isn't as premium as audio. Again, the FOMO simply isn't there because you can always rewatch it on your own time. To me, that's not a premium experience because I can just watch it whenever I want. With audio, I have to be there. That's premium. So here's how I'm making up for it. I'm making up for it, and this might be a really, really huge psychological exercise for everyone watching and listening. I'm making up for this lack of premium by making the event longer. I'm purposefully making the event at least 2.5 hours. This is on purpose, by the way. Here's what's going to happen. People can't just record it, and they can't just write one post about it. There's going to be a plethora of posts next week about this live that I'm going to do. You're going to see at least 100 posts from other people talking about the event. At least 100 posts. With the audios, this happened anyhow because people didn't have the recording. People who didn't attend, they could have found the value afterwards through these other posts from other people. Yeah. For me, it was really good branding. It was really great authority planning because I could count on other people talking about it. Now, because they can just rewatch it, I can't count on those types of posts. Right? So what's the trick? Make it longer because not everyone's going to want to watch the whole thing. They're still going to search for a lot of these posts. And a lot of people, because it's such a long post, they're going to want to condense it into carousels, into long text-only breakdowns, into infographics, into this and that. And I know this is going to happen 100%. We're going to get so many posts, right? So that's why I'm on purpose doing it at least 2.5 hours because I'm going to get that borrowed authority from so many other profiles talking about it. And then what happens? Of course, I repost it, I engage with it, more networks, more reach, more followers, more conversions, more sales. So I'm counting on it because I'm thinking about all these moving parts before the event, during the event, and after the event because I lost audio. We don't have audio anymore. For me, just the fact that it was audio versus video, just the fact that it was only audio and there were no replays, this took care of the whole thing in the past. That's why I loved doing audio because people can't rewatch it. They had to be there. And the overall retention was just so much higher. The other part was, this is also going to be very useful, I think, for a lot of people watching this, is involving your audience. With audio events, you could just have people raise their hand and click on these reactions. With videos, there's none of that because you have to watch a separate comment stream on LinkedIn. Like those comments are popping in live, but there's so many, right? So if you're asking for certain questions, asking for certain answers on audio, I could literally bring someone on stage. No equipment needed, no technical background, no technical specifications and requirements. With video, I can't bring people on stage unless it's pre-arranged guests. So the community building is a lot.
I've tried it before. By the way, I've sent the link out to like all my guys that come regularly. And you know what? They're not the same. As soon as they see themselves on camera, they're not on audio. No. They're fine. It's just like they're on the phone. But yeah,
I know. That's why I will bring it. I will have guests next week. I will not announce these guests. They're going to be surprises.
Yeah.
But I will have guests next week. They're going to be prearranged. And some people have called me like, hey, dude, do you mind if I come in? Sure, let's go. So it's going to be just extra value for people. They're all like pretty big names in the field. So they're going to join us during the event. And it's just going to be this big, giant surprise for everyone because no one's expecting it, right?
Epic. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, I know we've went way overboard, man. I don't want to hold you. It's way too late for you in Aussie. Thank you for
we're
this.
having so much fun.
I can still continue talking about it because I feel like with these events, there's so many like unpredictabilities. Let's call them that. There's so many moving parts, and it really truly depends on like how you want to customize the experience. Like for example, what I love to do is I love picking out comments and highlighting them in this right here. I love doing that because it also helps others. Like I'm always thinking about the bigger picture. It helps people get more followers. It helps people get more leads, right? And if you're really smart, you're going to use that opportunity to actually say, hey, Jasmin just featured me on his live event. I thought you were really cool. Do you want to, what you did with Grant Cardone and what you did with Jasmin? Like I just interviewed, do that. Now you have the opportunity, right? So yeah, there's so many things.
I've been approached by people that have been in your events actually to invite me on a podcast. Oh, I saw you're on. Yeah, that's happened. I don't bring the comments on screen anymore. Do you know why? Because I'm using the Opus clip. And look good vertical.
Makes sense.
I can't use a slide. I can't put a comment up because otherwise it just creates more work for me. So that's why you always have to look at my face.
No, that is very true. That is very true. But what you can do is if you're using what's it called? The podcast thingy, not Restream, the other one.
Yeah, there's ways around
Riverside. If you're using Riverside records it natively. So for those of you guys who really care about good quality, Riverside is probably a great one. You can still plug it into LinkedIn Live. Riverside is great. Riverside is going to just record my clips from my computer, Bibby's clips from his computer separately. And it's going to upload separate files, video files.
Much better quality.
Yeah, much better quality. But with that being said, you also need like a super duper good internet connection and really good quality mics, really good quality studios and all that.
Yeah, that's really important. By the way, that like your internet connection is very important, but sometimes it's just a matter of using like a different browser than you normally use. Like I remember I was getting some maybe a year ago, and all I had to do was just open a new window, not be logged into my main browser with all the extensions, and it worked fine.
That happens too. That happens too as well. But also, this is one part. I'm also going to do this next week, guys. Just if you have an event with a lot of things you want to cover and you really want to be involved in the coaching. For me, LinkedIn Lives are like live coaching sessions, right? Like you really want to be involved. Right now, what I'm doing, I'm looking down on my screen, which is not really the best experience, but I have to do it because I'm also the organizer. I'm looking at the comments. I'm looking at the mute people, put people on stage, spotlight certain blah, 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 whoever's raising their hand. But what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to have an assistant in the background doing all of this for me, right? I'm literally going to have a third or a fourth person in the background taking care of putting the comments up top. And it's almost like another voice in the room. So what's going to happen is I'll do my best to keep looking into the camera as I'm speaking to people. And as they're watching the replay, it feels like I'm talking to them directly versus me looking down, I'm looking at the screen. Like it's a very different experience when you're looking down on the screen and following what's going on versus actually looking into the camera and speaking to the audience directly. Like it's a very different experience. But for those two versions to work, you need a second person in the background. You can't do this physically by yourself. You can't.
I'll just mention one more thing. Like you might get some value out of this. Like I found this teleprompter I can look at your eyes and I'm looking at it down the lens. How good's that? It's only one that they had in the Elgato. So if you're going to get a teleprompter, get that one. It's great. And
also, in general, for a lot of people who want to build their home studios, especially if you're in these American, UK, and Australian markets, it's literally ELGATO, Elgato.
Yeah,
they have lights. They have the Cam Link, which is like a 4K converter from whatever you're using into however it's going to uplift the quality of your video. They have the teleprompter that Bibby's talking about. They got webcams. Elgato produces a lot of home studio equipment. So it's a really great brand, Elgato. Just so you know.
Yeah.
I don't personally use it because we don't have it here in Bosnia, in this part of Europe. I would love for Elgato to be here. Heck, I should just message someone. They should sponsor. There we go. Victoria's time to get a sponsorship.
Brother.
There you go.
You out.
There you go. Also, for those people who want to build their home studio, do not get a Sony camera. I don't care what the market tells you.
I'm
Sony
using
cameras
a
are
Sony.
I know Sony cameras are the best in terms of quality, but they're the worst in terms of cables, in terms of the actual software and how to set them up. They're the worst because they're mostly intended for outdoor video usage and outdoor photography usage. They're not intended for streaming, which is what we're doing right now. We're streaming. They're not intended for that. So getting it to work properly, it's a nightmare. And like Bibby told you, like he lost so much time and so much money and resources setting it all up. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had it all, man. I've had it. Once I dropped my camera and broke it just before, 5 minutes before, and I had to like, it's just so everything. But the audience never knew. It's so far. You deal with this crisis. The audience doesn't know. They're not thinking about it.
That is very true. And also, your iPhone. Let me show you. It's probably the best camera that you can have. Let me show you. There we go. This is the iPhone camera. I'm literally holding my phone right now. This is you behind my laptop, guys. So the iPhone camera is going to be your best camera because it provides just the biggest sharpness and the biggest separation from the background. It's going to be perfectly blurry in the background, perfectly blurry. It mimics a DSLR camera or professional camera, and it's also very stable. Like if I'm moving it, like it's still very stable, as you guys can tell. It's still very stable.
Difference. Yeah.
Yeah. The other part is you can also use it as a desk camera. Let me see what it's going to do. Oh my God. Like if you're doing, you see, these are my hands. If you're doing any demos, this is very cool. This is very useful.
I need those hand shots, man.
Yeah, no, but this is very useful if you're doing any sort of, if you're drawing stuff and if you're doing like these Christo diagrams, or this is very useful stuff. But you got to have your iPhone connected to a charger, and you really got to make sure that your battery is going to last. So
make sure you plug your cameras in, guys.
Someone just wrote, we should watch Jasmin's hands while he's commenting live.
Yeah, that would be a 4-hour live right there.
Oh my God.
To that.
Helena had a great question. She asked, do you only use the iPhone as the camera and the sound connected to the laptop? I don't use the iPhone now. Like it's in my hands. Like this is my MacBook camera. This is the standard MacBook camera. But this is miles better. Genuinely, this camera, it's miles better. The only advice I will give you is turn on your focus mode because incoming calls won't get through. If someone is calling, it won't interrupt the camera signal. Unless you have the focus mode off, then anyone can call you and the camera just breaks. Like there's no signal. It's just empty. It's black screen. The mic is great, but again, if you can buy a microphone, dedicated microphone, genuinely. The Audio Technica stuff I told you about earlier, best bang for the buck. If you want to go a level up, get a Shure SM7B mic. If you want to know all about this, go to the resources channel in the community, guys. Resources channel, cool stuff. And there's Jasmin's home setup, the video and microphone setup. All this gear is listed, and I also gave you alternatives. I also gave you all the prices as well for all of this. The lights, everything, literally everything is included. So whoever wants to see how to set it up at home, including the budget, the alternative budget, and the real budget, you got all the options there in the resources channel in this community. Bibby.
Yeah,
I could talk to you all day, man.
Those Shure things are just a little bit out of my price range.
Yeah, this SM7B is actually not that expensive anymore, considering how expensive. Let me tell you, Shure SM7B.
I threw it in my cart, and then I got this thing instead. It was about, I think it must be half the price, but it's dynamic. It's great. It's really good.
Yeah, Shure SM7B, Amazon. It says $400. So
Victoria's got the right idea.
Yeah, for a studio level mic, the SM7B, which is literally what rappers, singers use in their studios, like for their albums, which is what 90% of these podcasts in the world use. This is the same exact mic. I got the same exact mic at home. $400 for that kind of mic. You're going to buy it once, and you're never going to need to buy another mic again in your life. So I consider that to be a really good investment long term. So the Audio Technica stuff is.
So if you want to record a freestyle or something, you're ready to go.
Also, I don't know if you guys are going to notice, but let me do this. I'm going to turn my headphones off, and let's just compare the microphone that is here on the laptop. So I'm going to take these off.
Can you still hear us?
And let's test this microphone now. Any difference you guys hear?
Yeah,
this one is probably pinnier.
You're too far away, I think.
Yeah, now I'm a little bit too far away, but I can customize it as well.
Yeah.
I can customize this.
That's the problem when you get the expensive stuff. There's more settings.
But check this.
That's what I.
This is a little bit too low. If I go right here, now it's a little
Oh,
bit
there you
better.
go.
There you
Wow.
go. There you go. So you can set this up and you don't need any extra resources, any extra stuff. Like I'm looking at my sound setting. This is the mic right here. This is the mic I'm using. So yeah, anyhow.
Very nice. You sound like James Bond.
007, everyone. 007. Okay, everyone. Thank you. Bibby, genuinely. Thank you for an amazing event.
Oh, thanks for having me.
An amazing
Appreciate
class for everyone. This has truly been like a master class. Like when we say master class, this is what we mean. We get all the answers, right? And it's like you're going to watch this till the end and you're like, I know exactly what to do, all the technical specifications, how to promote it, how to set it up, the structure, the length, guests or not, promo or not, like all the stuff that happens in the background. We know everything now. This truly deserves the name Masterclass. So thank you for that, genuinely. And you're always welcome.
My pleasure.
Always.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having me. And everyone, thanks for being here and keep smashing it. And look forward to seeing some of your events in the feed. All right. Good night, legends.
There we go. Thank you, Bibby. Good night. And to everyone else, see you on the next Masterclass.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Bye for now, everyone. Thank you.
See you guys.